Hello everyone, my name is Shivani. I'm a Canadian licensed immigration consultant and I'm also the founder of Zest Immigration Services Incorporation. We have proudly launched this initiative to offer free French language lessons to help on your Canadian immigration journey right here on this very YouTube channel. As you may know, French is becoming a key factor in Canadian immigration, and many programs now provide easier or faster pathways if you have strong French skills. Whether you're aiming for a Canadian work permit, direct permanent residency from within Canada or your home country to Canada, or looking to boost your CRS or PNP scores, French can open many doors. That's why we are committed to providing full French training from level A1 to C2, from beginner to advanced level, completely free of charge on this platform, on this very YouTube channel. We will be uploading videos regularly, so be sure to subscribe and stay tuned and watch each lesson to get most benefit from this opportunity. This entire series is our way of supporting you on your immigration path, and your support means the world to us in return. Thank you, and let's learn French together for a brighter future in Canada. Keep watching this video to continue with your French lesson. All the very best for this lesson and many more to come.
So for lesson 7, our objectives are to use conjunctions to build a more complete sentence, to say your age and birthday, to name and use colors in context, and to describe yourself and your family members. So first, with the conjunctions. In French, we call them les conjonctions. And what they do is they link words, phrases, or ideas together. So earlier I talked about how when you have a word that ends with an S and then one that begins with a vowel, a lot of times we'll do une liaison. It's sort of the same thing with conjunctions. It just links ideas together, and it's super important when you're writing a text so that your ideas flow better and it just makes more sense. So the most common conjunctions that we have in French are et, which means and, mais, which means but, ou, which means or, donc, which means so, ni, which means neither, and car, which means because. So to remember it, you can say mais, ou, et, donc, ni, car. Okay, so it sounds like you're asking a question, but it's just a way to remember the conjunctions. So for example, if I'm using et, I could say j'aime le chocolat et la vanille. I love chocolate and vanilla. If you're trying to use mais, you can say il est grand mais très gentil. He is tall but very nice. If you're trying to use ou in a sentence, tu veux du thé ou du café? So would you like coffee or tea? Tu veux du café ou du thé? So you're giving an option. You're having to make a choice. If you're trying to use donc, you're giving a reason. So, je suis fatigué, donc je vais me coucher. So you're giving like a further explanation for something. So I'm tired, so I'm going to bed. This is how I feel, so I'm going to do something after. If you're trying to use ni, in French, je ne mange ni viande ni poisson. I eat neither meat nor fish. And if you're trying to use car, you say il reste à la maison car il fait froid. He stays home because it's cold. So you can use those conjunctions in your everyday dialect, in your writing, and you'll notice them a lot more now when you're reading to get your point across better, to communicate better, and it just flows. And you can let your knowledge shine through while using those conjunctions. Now to answer, how old are you? So in French, we use the verb avoir to talk about age. So it's kind of different because when you're talking about being something, normally you would use le verbe être. But when we're talking about age, we use the verb avoir. For example, I am 34 years old. I wouldn't say je suis 34 ans, which would be le verbe être. I would say j'ai 34 ans. So if I wanted to say she is 19 years old, I would say elle a 19 ans. If I was to say my brother is 12 years old, I would say mon frère a 12 ans. So whenever someone asks you the question, quel âge as-tu? It means how old are you? Quel âge as-tu? And your answer, depending on your age, obviously, would be j'ai 27 ans, j'ai 44 ans, j'ai 16 ans, depending on your age. Now, when someone is asking your birthday, they're not asking your age, they're asking you your date of birth or your birthday. There is a formal way to say it and an informal way to say it. So what's your birthday would be quel est ton anniversaire? Sometimes in French, you'll hear people say quelle est ta fête? So fête is actually a party, but in an informal way, when you're asking someone their birthday, you can also ask them leur fête. I would stick with anniversaire just because you know an informal or formal way, it's always appropriate. It's just if somebody would ask you, like would say something like ma fête c'est le, then you know what they're saying. They're saying my birthday is the. So quelle est la date de ton anniversaire? What is your birthday? Your answer would be my birthday is November 9th. Mon anniversaire est le 9 novembre. If someone is asking you for your birth date, that's different. So if you're filling out documents or whatnot and someone is asking you for your birth date, they're going to say, quelle est la date de ta naissance? So birth is naissance in French. Then you would give the day, month, year on which you were born. Awesome. So now we're going to study colors. So colors are a fun way to add some descriptions, a little bit more of a picture of what you're trying to say to a person. And they are also a type of adjective. Okay, so because they're a type of adjective, they have to agree with the noun in gender and number. Okay, so for example, in English, we have blue. In French, if you're talking about an object that is masculine, you're going to say bleu. If you're talking about an object that's féminin, you're also going to say bleu. But when you write it out, what do we often add for a feminine word? It's an E at the end. So your bleu now has an E at the end. White in English becomes blanc. In French, au féminin, blanche. Green is vert en français, becomes verte au féminin. Black is noir en français, becomes noir with an E at the end au féminin. Red is rouge, masculin ou féminin. Yellow is jaune, masculin ou féminin. Gray in French becomes gris. When you're talking about a feminine noun, it becomes grise. Purple is violet in French. When you're talking about a feminine noun, it becomes violette. Brown in French, there's two ways of saying it. So the most common way you're going to hear a French person say something is brown is going to be using brun. Another way to say it is marron. whether it's feminine or masculine, it's going to be marron. But if you're talking about a masculine noun, it's going to be brun, and a feminine noun is brune. Orange in English becomes orange in French, whether it's masculine or feminine. There's no changing the spelling neither. Bleu, light blue, is bleu clair. You will also hear bleu pâle because pâle is light. So light in English is pâle in French, but another common way to say it is bleu clair. Dark blue is bleu foncé. It doesn't change the writing, doesn't change the spelling, whether you're talking about a female noun or a male noun. So for example, un manteau vert is a green coat. Des chaussures noires, they're black shoes. Une écharpe rouge, a red scarf. Another way of saying scarf in French is foulard. So un foulard rouge, une écharpe rouge, both scarves. Des jupes bleues. Those are blue skirts. The exemptions are compound colors. So bleu clair or orange don't change with the feminine masculine. We saw a few different ones that don't change feminine masculine, but others do. Again, experience, practice, you'll get the hang of it. Now we're going to learn how to describe ourselves, and it's good that we learn colors because when you're learning to describe yourself, you're not only describing your stature or your age, you're describing your facial features and your hair color and stuff like that. So for hair, les cheveux, right here, les cheveux, you have brown hair, les cheveux bruns, black is noir, blonde is blond or blonde, depending masculine, feminine. Chestnut is les cheveux châtains. Red hair is les cheveux roux ou rousses. So if you're talking about like a red-headed woman, you'll say la femme rousse. Gray is gris, white is blanc, short is court, long is long. Now we talk about eye color. So when you have blue eyes, tu as les yeux bleus. Green is vert. Brown is again brun ou marron. Black is noir. For example, je suis de taille moyenne. J'ai des cheveux noirs et les yeux bleus. I am of average height. So taille is height, moyenne is average. I have black hair and blue eyes. Another example, il est petit, il a les cheveux roux et une barbe. He is short, he has red hair and a beard. So in French, sometimes you're going to hear petit used in place of short. Sometimes you're going to hear court used in place of short, and petit used in place of little or small. So like petit frère, little brother. It depends who you're speaking to, and it depends in what context. Speaking of brother, we are now going to talk about your different family members. So painting a portrait of your family. Un portrait de la famille. So in French, my father is mon père. My mother is ma mère. My brother is mon frère. And my sister is ma sœur. Ma cousine is a female cousin, so there's an E at the end. Mon cousin is a male cousin. Une tante is an aunt. Un oncle is an uncle. Example of a description could be, ma cousine s'appelle Monique. Elle a 31 ans. Elle est gentille et drôle. Elle a les cheveux longs et châtains et les yeux verts. So that translated into English is, my cousin's name is Monique. She is 31 years old. She is kind and funny. She has long chestnut hair and green eyes. Are we ready to practice the skills we've just learned? So let's translate the following sentences in English. Okay? So if I tell you, je suis grand et j'ai les cheveux blancs. Translate that in English for me. Je suis grand et j'ai les cheveux blancs. Correct. I am tall and I have blonde hair. If I say, elle a les yeux verts et elle est gentille. Elle a les yeux verts et elle est gentille. Translated, that would be, she has green eyes and she is kind. Next, if I say, nous avons les cheveux bruns et les yeux noirs. Nous avons les cheveux bruns et les yeux noirs. Translated, that would be, we have brown hair and black eyes. Last example for this, Roger et Isabelle ont une sœur nommée Monique. Roger et Isabelle ont une sœur nommée Monique. Translated in English, that would be, Roger and Isabel have a sister named Monique. Okay, now you guys are going to fill in the blanks with correct words. Okay? So first sentence, je suis et j'ai une barbe. So I am and I have a beard. Je suis et j'ai une barbe. The correct answer here is je suis grand et j'ai une barbe. Number 2, mon anniversaire est le quelque chose où. Mon anniversaire est le où. Yes, here you would put mon anniversaire est le 23 août. Number 3, elle a les cheveux, something, et les yeux, something. Elle a les cheveux et les yeux. Correct. Elle a les cheveux châtains et les yeux bleus. Last one. Nous avons un oncle qui s'appelle. So that would be a proper noun. Nous avons un oncle qui s'appelle Matt.